Hello and welcome, Campbell here from Autodidactic. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And today I want to talk a little bit about trees, the giant trees and the Great Flood and the water. Is there a correlation? Let's have a look. And it says in the Bible, this is Daniel 4:23, and of the King James, it says, "And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let this portion be the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him." So that's interesting. And this end bit here, till 7 times pass over him. If we come down to the AMP, I'm not sure what Bible that is, it says until 7 periods of time pass over him, which was what, I was thinking this meant. So what are those periods of time? Is that something else to look at? 7 times what? I don't know. Leave me a comment if you're a Bible scholar and you have any idea of what that time frame might be. I wonder if the 7 times from when that happened is now, because there's a lot going on. So they cut down the trees. Okay, they left the stumps. And then it said, let it be wet with the dew of heaven. So basically, then let it rain and let his portion be with the beast. So I'm guessing that means let the water flow down into the fields, right? Beasts of the fields, let it flow down the mountain onto the flatlands. And so there's some pretty interesting videos I'm going to show you. So did you know that many trees, when you cut them open, they actually spew out water because they're full of water because their roots are down in the ground sucking the water up. And then if you cut them in the right place, you can get access to this water. And this is how many native tribes access water in times of drought. So if we put that on a bigger scale, does that mean if we had giant trees and they were cut down, that the water within them that was coming up through the roots would cause streams, mountain waterfalls that turn into rivers that go all over the earth? Because there's also many writings that talk about the earth without oceans, pre-oceans, pre-water kind of, that there was a lot more land. And they even tell us this in science, right? With Gondwana land, they speak of a time that they say that it was when all the, tectonic plates holding all the continents were joined. But, it is science. We know they don't tell us the truth, the whole truth. So did that just mean that there was just one landmass? And it wasn't that these continents were closer together, it was that there was much less water, like no oceans. And then obviously, precipitation, right? So if these trees, these giant trees start spewing water everywhere and creating waterfalls and rivers, did that kickstart the precipitation cycle, right? Which causes rain, which is, of course, dew from heaven. What do you think? So as we can see, when you cut trees open, certain trees, you get water and quite a lot of water. Now imagine these trees, thousands of times that scale. Imagine the amount of water we're talking about because we have this idea of prime water, right? All this water under the land. And even science again has come out recently and said that there is more water in oceans under the ground than on top of it. So there's all this water below. The scientists say it's oceans. Does that mean it's salt water? I don't know. We also have the prime water. Is that different? I'm not sure. But basically, what we're talking about is there's a lot of water under the ground, and it's pulled up by the trees, right? And maybe that's the cycle when we've got giant trees that creates a vapor canopy because they're just slowly giving off the water through their leaves and things. But when you cut them all down, you get all the water at the same time, and that would flood the world. So is this even how the Great Flood happened? The fallen angels came down and cut the trees down and created rivers and waterfalls and water, right, to fill up the earth. Because in the flood story, it says the earth was overrun with evil, basically, right? The Nephilim and all this kind of stuff, sinners. And so God had to wipe them out with a flood. And so basically, he was wiping out, the fallen ones, right? The fallen angels, the ones that had mated with women and created the Nephilim, who then ate all the food and all that kind of story. So they were supposed to be wiped out after the flood. But this Daniel 4:23 is talking about the watchers coming down from heaven, like they're still around. So this sounds like it's pre-flood, right? Pre-flood. They're still talking to the watchers, the fallen ones, and it says, hew the tree down and destroy it. And so is that, in fact, how the Great Flood was caused? Let me know in the comments. And of course, there's a lot of evidence of these giant trees around the realm, these big mesas and plateaus and tabletop mountains, as they call them. And that would have produced a lot of water. But we also have another story about Yggdrasil, the tree of life, the tree in the center of Hyperborea. And in all the mythology, it was pretty much always a tree. But then on the later maps, the more recent maps to us, where they do show Hyperborea, they show it as a stump, a black rock, Rupus nigra, right? Black rock. I think we all know about black rock as well, right? The parasitic company, but black rock, Rupus nigra, is that the stump of Yggdrasil? Because if that was the giant tree that reached up to the heavens, you can imagine how much water that would pour out. And has that got something to do with Hyperborea disappearing, maybe? And then the whole region freezing over? I don't know. Just a thought. Leave me your comments. And of course, we see this all over the world, all over the realm, are these massive waterfalls always coming out of mountains, what we're told are mountains, right? And they obviously go down then to form rivers. So that's the water source, right? There's been a lot of talk online just recently about what is the water source? Where's it all coming from? And it seems to be coming from the mountains, right? The trees, the tree stumps, like they're everywhere. So just a short video. Let me know. What do you think? Could cutting down the giant trees have actually caused the Great Flood?